classical saxophone, a rich tradition that can have huge benefits to your playing. Today, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I think you should be studying at least some classical saxophone. Oh, and we're also launching a huge library of free music and a giant announcement coming right up. Today, we've got a lot of things to cover. I have some huge announcements, some things I'm very excited to share with you, and an ask for help as well. I don't like asking for help, but that'll be up in just a minute. In the meantime, let's talk about some of the big reasons why I think you should be studying classical saxophone. First, the huge variety of techniques that we study in a musical context with classical saxophone. Timbre, control, intonation, many other extended techniques and fun things to add to your solos. Now, of course jazz players do this. There are jazz players with the most amazing intonation, color, and dynamics on the planet. But having it written out in classical exercises for study or in the context of classical literature repertoire, I think it makes it much more accessible, tangible, and manageable. Say that 3 times fast. So when we have it in the context of classical music, I think it's a more straightforward way to study it and a lot of fun at the same time. Now, here's the problem with teaching this on YouTube. In order for us to study and have lessons together, we need to have the same music. And a lot of these publications are difficult to get. They're often out of print or out of stock. And a lot of these French editions, which I love, can cost $30 to $50. So the problem was, how do I teach this? How do we study this together here on this channel if you don't have the music? I didn't have a good solution, so I took action. The Saxophone Academy has commissioned a set of 24 etudes, melodic studies in the classical music tradition by UK-based composer Jenny Watson. Now, many of you may know Jenny Watson. She's an internationally recognized composer. Her saxophone work specifically have been performed all over the world, in Europe, North America, Australia. College professors are teaching her music, and I'm a huge fan. It works incredibly well for the performer and audiences alike. It's not music written just for the industry. It's fantastic music that is incredibly challenging and fun for the performer as well. Now, Jenny is an incredibly bright composer and saxophonist as well. She actually got her master's from the Royal Northern College of Music, which is funny because we can't actually call anything in America really royal in our universities or schools, but we do have Royal Crown Cola. So eat that, UK. Now, I love Jenny's music so much that a few years ago, I commissioned a solo work for saxophone and made it free to our podcast community. It was for solo saxophone, any of the saxophones. You can play it on soprano, alto, tenor, bari, whatever you like, with ambient sounds as well. And my podcast co-host, Dr. Susan Fancher of Duke University, recorded it. It was a huge hit. And that project was such a success, I decided to commission this larger scale works that covers every key technique and facility used on the saxophone imaginable, starting with very approachable melodic studies. The language is modern and uniquely Watson. They become more challenging throughout the book, really stretching your technique and especially your articulation. And by request and in discussions with Jenny Watson, we decided to also, in many of the etudes, offer optional Altissimo passages that really provide unique, not just squeaking on high notes, but control of the Altissimo in musical contexts. So I'm incredibly excited to offer you this huge set of works immediately. Right now, you can go download it. Susan Fancher, Jenny Watson, and I are really excited to work on this with you. Mostly, we're going to be studying these more advanced works on the podcast in the classical nature, but from time to time, we'll be using it on the YouTube channel as well. Now, I have an ask. I need your help, but I think it's a big win-win. So in these commissions, we have to pay the composers fairly, which I continue to do. But we also are bringing in a huge free library of music, starting with a couple of works we'll talk about in just a second. But all of the classical works that we're adding to this, the transcriptions, we're not just doing scans or PDFs or whatever we can find. We're actually taking well-known classical works, redoing the transcriptions with a fine-tooth comb, everything from the markings, the page turns, the ornamentation, and we're doing full piano scores as well, so you can play this with the pianist if you like. Now, the engraving, the transcription, and the arrangements, to get this professionally done, it is costing a considerable amount of money to get this all done to offer free from you. I'm going to make that happen. But I thought, is there a way we can help finance this and make it a win-win for the community? And I thought, what if I can combine two of my favorite things on earth, the saxophone and variety is the spice of life, and coffee, the fuel of virtuosity. We've partnered with Loom Coffee Roasters to introduce the Saxophone Academy Coffee Club, a new coffee every month you can enjoy with the Saxophone Academy faculty and support our mission of creating the highest quality saxophonic educational materials. Subscribers will enjoy a wide array of single estate and co-op coffees from around the world, curated by the roasting team at Loom Coffee Company. Now, last fall, I sat down at my local coffee house to write some scale exercises, and I had the best cup of coffee of my life. And it was from Loom Coffee Company, a local roaster, and my neighbors here in Greensboro, North Carolina. So every month, you get a hand-picked roast delivered straight to your practice studio from Loom, who has generously agreed to give a portion of the proceeds to support our mission in providing the highest quality free saxophonic educational materials. You get the world's best coffee. I'll keep making saxophone videos and content for you. So if you love coffee and want to support the mission, I'd be grateful. It's truly the coffee that I drink almost every day. I adore it. It's the same price as if you just ordered it, but it helps support this mission. Now let's talk about the free library of music we're building, starting with two amazing classical works that are going to be added here in the fall and in the winter, starting with Handel. It's a piece that challenges our intonation, our control, our articulation, endurance, breath support, and many other things. It's a blast to play with piano, and this will be with the full piano score as well. I'll be doing a demo recording with a pianist as well in a nice concert venue, so you can follow along and play it. We're also going to be offering a soprano version as well. You may know this piece from the famous Sigurd Rascher edition where he did the third sonata. He did it in the concert key of A flat. I think it works much better in concert C. And we're also going to offer an additional soprano option. It's a lot of fun to play. I think you're going to love it. Reason number 3, Bach, Beethoven, Satie, all the classical composers that I listen to just for funsies, even beyond studying. These are records that I put on regularly. Classical music is amazing. It's about the closest thing to time travel I think we actually have. To see those notes on a page recreated in modern times that were written hundreds of years ago and sounding out today through acoustics, it's kind of magical if we think about it. I adore it, and so we're going to be studying the great library of the world's greatest composers through truly high-quality transcriptions. And in the winter, after Handel, we will be studying some Debussy. In the coming months, I'm going to announce more that's going to be added to the free library. This is not in any way replacing the fundamentally core jazz studies that we're going to be doing, because I truly believe the height of Earth culture is the 1950s West Coast Cool School and Jazz. We're going to be exploring Coltrane in the very near future and some other great jazz things, but this is going to be something that will be slow burning in the background that I think will benefit all of us. I'm really excited about it, and I'm really excited to see what you and I can start to accomplish together. So, next week I will be back playing some jazz with you. Bring your horn and a good read. Until then, do consider joining the coffee club. I think you're going to really like it. And go practice.